Hi, I'm Kev from Inspired Youth. I run a not-for-profit social enterprise. We work with people in the community with lived experience to tackle social issues using arts and media. And today I want to talk about social media and the impact of social media on mental health. So I'm doing a project called No Filter, and it's basically about talking about mental health with children and young people and talking about feelings and well-being with children and young people, but without a filter. So like in the same way that you've got Instagram and you put your filters on and you've got your Snapchat and you've got all of these things that are everyday apps that children and young people are using, and they're all happy looking things, aren't they? And they're in the form that they are and all colourful and everything. And there's something quite innocent about them in that way, but they are a dangerous place at times. And I think when I look back to last year and that terrible story about the young girl who passed away because she took her own life, going on Instagram and following pages that were advocating self-harm and suicide and ways even to do it and things like this, and you think, okay, that's really, really weird that that's allowed to be even on there in the first place, and that it even takes a person to lose their life and a family to lose a child in order for these, giant companies to put the measures in place to protect young people. And more recently, there's the horrific TikTok video where children and young people have been exposed to video content they can't unsee. They've seen it, they've consumed it, and they've experienced it, and that's got to be quite a scary thing. But also, I think they're a fake place, social media. So they set standards that can't be reached. So when these kids and young people and children and stuff are looking at these people on Instagram, they're seeing not what is real for them. It looks very glamorous, and it works visually, but it's not what they really look like. It's got a filter on it, and even like, wider afield, you look at media in general, like it's an ongoing raging debate, isn't it? Like, how are people photoshopped? What kind of, it's like body shaming, and then you get all of this like body dysmorphia, and you get children thinking they're fat when they're not fat, and getting anorexia issues and eating disorders and all of these other problems that come from these kind of things. And I just think it's out of control. Like, there's lots of people asking questions in the pandemic about the way the government's dealing with it and what's being told and what's true and what's not true. And if you're not careful, you might share a bit of information that you've read that you believe to be true, and then next minute they're policing it and saying this is false information because of X, Y, and Z. And yet you think, how is that happening on something that's just about a question or a debate about a subject? And yet there's no policing on the other stuff, and that's getting through the net. That doesn't, to me, make any sense at all. Like, I understand we're in a pandemic, but I honestly think people are underestimating the impact of the mental health on people in general, me included, how it's affected people, how lockdown itself as an individual entity of the pandemic, how does that affect us? How does it affect us not seeing family and not having those social relationships? There's all that stuff that goes with it. So we're on our phones more, we're on our devices more, and we're more exposed to it. And so I think it's a bit rich of social media companies to go, right, this is wrong and that's right, and you can do this and you can't say that and this and that and the other, and you're thinking, all right. But then if you watch a video, so I don't know how they kept on getting this video back on. I think people were downloading it and then re-uploading it, but they were having a struggle to get it down. So when you read the article and you're like, they're trying to take it down, you're thinking, well, this is still ongoing. This is still possibly, people are being still exposed to this now. So why? What's going on? How do they not have these measures when they can act so quickly on other things? I don't really understand that part of it. I find that really puzzling. But yeah, I think in general, social media is very false, and it gives young people the impression that they've got to live up to a standard that doesn't even exist, which they're never going to live up to. I mean, the world has changed, hasn't it? You've seen even children now doing pouting and stuff like that and whatnot. And we had the eyebrow era, didn't we, where all teenagers started doing stuff with their eyebrows and stuff. I was thinking back to me at school and thinking, Nobody did anything to their eyebrows when I was. They wore makeup and stuff, but there was none of that. There was no pouting. People didn't do that stuff. So the world has changed, but I don't know. I think if you're going to have social media out there and you're going to let young people use it, you've got to be making sure it's safe. Because there's other things about social media that worry me, especially with child abuse and paedophiles and stuff like that. Like I'd seen on the Snapchat thing, they have like these little avatar things and sort of like say where people are on a map. And I'm thinking, well, that's like, it looks like a friendly, enjoyable like space to be, and you put filters on it and it's really funny. But then there's an element that worries me because I think, who's looking at their location? You know, we are in a world where we see stuff every day on the news that's just appalling. And so social media people have got to take some responsibility for managing this. Like, I think if you typed in like a hashtag, so you were interested in it, in something, and it took you to this dreadful page that, you know, that's allowed to be there and it's got shocking images on it. Well, instead of doing that, if they could do it so that it recognized that you were looking for this content and threw up videos of people that are mental health advocates or that coaches that are on TikTok, or, you know, inspiring people, or positive helplines or telephone lines, or, you know, signposting people instead of giving them the content, because I think it's too late after the fact. The young people that have seen that, and I've seen some stuff on videos, I've clicked on videos online over the years, didn't want to see the person's leg get broken on the swing, didn't want to see the tragic ending to the video that I wasn't expecting whatsoever. And you're sort of there and you're stunned, aren't you? You're like, oh, what did I just consume? You're actually shocked as an adult. So you think, if I believe this to be a suicide that's happened on a social media platform, I mean, someone's got to be responsible, and we can't lose young people to suicide anymore. We've got to fix that problem, and social media has got to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Like, the other thing that is, they say, you know, we want you to use our stuff, you know, our sites responsibly. But then if you click on a video, I don't know what videos that would bring up, because I think in algorithms on like Instagram, for example, if I watch a video, say someone's shared a video on their Instagram story, and I click on that, it's not my content, it's not what I've researched, it's not what I'm looking for, someone else is doing it. Click on it, start watching this video, takes you down some rabbit hole about whatever the issue or subject that he's talking about, and then at the end of the video, it gives you like, oh, you're the kind of person that likes whatever the video is that you've just watched. So it suggests another 5 videos that are like this. And I've found from doing it myself is that they get deeper and darker and darker. The more you tap on them, the more down the rabbit hole you sort of go. And so if I'm experiencing that as a user, like, and to be honest, I'd just probably get rid of all of my social media altogether if it wasn't for like the world that we're living in and the fact that I need to use it for my work. Like, I think it is quite negative. I think it's quite a negative place. It's changed. It's put a lot of pressure on young people about looks. You know, we're in a society where it's all about how do you look, and, you know, what's the filter look like, and all the rest of it. And you think, well, why aren't we teaching children about authenticity? Why aren't we teaching them about having values? Why aren't we teaching them about being the best, like, person and having the greatest heart and being kind or compassionate? Like, why is it always look the most beautiful? And then how about the girls that, you know, don't feel as beautiful as the next one? You know, how does that affect them? And even the girls that are feeling that they're not as beautiful as their peers, the girls that are the peers are not feeling as beautiful as the people that they've seen online. It's this never-ending thing, you know, which I think gives rise to the whole, you know, the industry of modification. You know, people modifying themselves in order to feel like they look in a certain way to feel acceptable or they feel beautiful. And I think we should be in a world where we say, you know what, the beauty in people isn't just on the surface. And actually, there's some you can have a very beautiful person, and there could be an absolute horrible person, you know. And I think, I'm not saying that beautiful people are horrible, but I'm sort of saying, if you look at a banana that's black on the outside, that's got all of the bruising on it, and then you open it, it's the nicest banana in the world. Do you know what I mean? But then you open the one that's slightly green, and it's disgusting. You know what I mean? It's like, It's one of them where I think it's all about surfaces. It's all about image. And I just think that's why I do what I do as well. I just think, let's get young people talking about things that actually matter, because it matters to them, but that's because we're tending to that thing. We're making that what society is, and I don't think it should be that. Nothing inspires me more than seeing a young person achieve something, stand on a stage, finish a project, get a qualification, do stuff that makes their parents proud or their family proud, that makes them proud. You're not going to win any awards for being an Instagram model. I think, like, as well, Instagram, I think to myself, what would the world do if they unplugged Instagram and all of a sudden you can't post pictures of yourself anymore? I mean, I use Instagram myself. I use it for my work, and I also have a personal one. And mine's pretty much pictures of the clouds, but there is the odd, I have to confess, selfie in there. And then, like 15 years ago, we said in the future we're all going to take photographs of ourselves, yeah, and then we're going to filter them to make ourselves look better. In the olden days, the evidence was there. It was this photograph with you wearing hideous things, and it was there for everyone to see. And you couldn't. I mean, you could put makeup on, but you were what you were. And I like that people have got depth and character and stuff like that. And I think you don't tend to see that. I think it's almost like the social media platforms encourage, this surface over depth principle. Like, get involved. Like, you want people to eat healthy and be healthy, have healthy bodies and healthy lives. Like, promote that stuff to them. Be promoting that, making them suggestions to young people using the platform, not suggesting horrific videos you'll never recover from watching. And I mean, I'm worried in general about the suicide rates going up, and there's lots of factors to it. Suicide's not happening just because of social media, but it can certainly influence people, can't it? It can get people looking at content. So the same as I look through the videos and it suggests me another video. If I'm a child starting to self-harm, I've got some mental health problems, I'm picking up loads of new info. It's in suggesting me to the next page and the next page. And, tragedy had to happen for change. Tragedy had to happen for change. And I mean, it's scary. It's really scary. I mean, I saw people promoting the warning, don't get on your go now. And this is the thing. Do parents really know what they're watching? I'm not saying, like, parents are probably trying their best and stuff like that, but what apps have they got and how many have they got? And are there any measures on it? I just think it's a crazy thing. So there were people warning, saying, get your children's phones, remove the app, and prevent them from seeing this. And I think that's fantastic. But I mean, that is a big game changer, because that can't be seen to happen anymore. They've got to have measures in place that prevent it from happening in the first place. There's no point saying, oh, people are re-uploading it. I mean, what's wrong with people anyway? Why would you re-upload these things? I mean, I think it was last year, was it the New Zealand terrorist attack? And the guy went online and he did it all live. George Floyd. I don't get how some content's banned, or this, you can't share this because it's harmful information. But the whole world, and I mean the whole world that's on the internet, watched this George Floyd guy die under a policeman's neck. And the videos last 2-3 minutes. And there's countless of them. And then they show it on the news. So the news is re-showing it and re-showing it and re-showing it and re-showing it. And you're thinking, what's that doing to our mental health? Like, we need to know about it. But do we need to watch the whole 5 excruciating minutes? Does that inform me? Do I need that? Or does it have an impact on me? We need to know about these issues, because it's outrageous that can happen in our day and age. And yes, we need to make sure it doesn't. But I'm not sure we all need to sit there and watch it. I'm not sure we all need to consume that. And I'm not sure about much research has been done into how do these things impact on our mental health as human beings, especially young people. When I was growing up, I had a tragic situation where my brother took his life, and that was horrific in real life, right? But there was nothing, that was my personal circumstances. There was nothing, I didn't have social media. We didn't have the internet. We didn't work connected into this world of information. Bullying stopped when you got home from school because people didn't do it online and didn't troll you. I mean, even all that, it's another subject altogether. I could go on forever about it, but yeah, I just think it's saturated our whole lives. It's got us in the palm of its hand, and it's all driven by money. The money is the most important thing. It's commerce, it's selling advertising, it's clicks, it's getting you to buy products. But no, guys, it's all about connecting with people. Connecting with people, showing them the cheesecake that you made on Tuesday, and putting a nice filter on so you don't look as rough from the night before or whatever it is. So, I mean, I hope that they take action, and I hope that this never happens again. We need to keep our kids safe, and we need to teach them values and principles, and we need to tell them that it's not all about image, actually. It's not about how many followers that you've got. It's about being a good human being and using your talents and being kind and loving people and, spending time with people that you care about within the measures, of course, and the COVID restrictions. But yeah, so I'd like to see a world where we had a more responsible social media platform, because we're always being asked as users to be responsible, and what we share can have an impact and all the rest of it. But you can't be allowing that. Can't be allowing that content on your platform. It's got to be not allowed to happen, and not systems that track it down to remove it to minimize the impact. Of course, it's not their fault that somebody's decided to upload that video. It is their fault that their algorithm is promoting it and suggesting it, and it is their fault that it's not being removed, because they're the people. They should if they can't get it off, shut it down, and then put it back on when it's gone. Because it's all money, isn't it? They're making money. They've become massive in lockdown. The TikTok people. We never heard of TikTok, have we? Back in the day it was Facebook, and then Instagram came along, and then you've got Snapchat, and I can't keep up with them all. And then they all end up amalgamating into one, and they're all owned by the same people, aren't they? So TikTok's a new one. I don't do TikTok, so fortunately for me, I never saw that video, but it horrifies me if that shows up on other platforms, and it keeps circulating. It needs taking down, and it needs preventing it from happening again in the future. And I've probably said that about 8 times, so I don't know if I'm just sort of like banging on now. But thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. But yeah, thank you.